Hey, what's up everybody? Abby here. I just wanted to share a few things that I've learned on my recent trip home that I needed to pay a little bit more attention to. So you check it out too. Okay, so being an expat is awesome, but there's some things that we need to make sure that we take care of in our home country. My home country is the USA, so things I need to still consider because I'm going to return to the US one day is things like my credit score, credit cards, my identity, all together, protecting my social security number, things of that nature. So one of the things that I need to fix on my way home, because I couldn't access certain websites or my US phone number wasn't necessarily in operation for me to handle it, or I didn't want to pay a ton of money trying to stay on hold in the US, was I thought my identity got stolen. And why am I smiling? Because I had a pretty good credit score, guys. Like a really good one, like 800, and it dropped about 200 points. And I was like, man, somebody stole my credit. I know it. How else would my credit drop that severe? And I'm away. I'm not even in the country. Well, it turns out that my credit card usage was the problem. I had been away for 3 years, and there's a few credit cards that I had zero balance on. Thankfully, I was able to, get rid of my consumer debt while away, but I didn't bear in mind that I needed to also, if I wanted to keep those cards, spend a little bit of money on it and pay it off. So I neglected to do that, and the companies decided to close not one but 2 cards. And those 2 cards being closed, even though they were at zero balance, took a hit on my credit. When I came home, I was able to discover that no fraudulent activity had been happening on my account, but because of those 2 credit cards closing and my credit history now going down. So in a sense, the longer you've had a credit card, or the longer you have a credit history, the more reliable they figure that you are. So I lost my top card that showed I had credit, or had been building my credit for 9 years, and that account closed. So that severely hurt my credit. So please bear in mind, if you're going to keep credit cards, use them every now and then just to keep the account open, because that will hurt your credit score. So speaking of credit score, if you are a U.S. citizen, when we come back, we're going to need that. It's still valid. You'll need it, or it's not necessarily that you'll need it, but it's helpful for things like purchasing cars, purchasing homes, purchasing a lot of different things. Now, if you're an expat who's been able to save up all this cash, cash is king, to be honest. And if you have the cash, then credit's not necessarily an issue for you if you have that large amount of cash, but I don't. So my credit is still important to me so that I can have it when I go back home. Now, fortunately, I still plan to be overseas for a couple more years, and I can, recover that credit history that I had lost from those cards closing. But I say all that to say, make sure you check up on your credit score. Make sure it's fitting, or make sure if you're away and you plan on going back home, if this is something that your country does, that you work on that you could get rid of your consumer debt, that you take care of anything that has been negligent, that you even write and mail in letters to anything that has been negatively reported on your credit. It's a great time if you're an expat to work on that, so when you come back home, you're good as gold to build, not even necessarily rebuild, but build a life that you want in your home country. Now, one thing I am going to do while I'm here is I'm going to go ahead and purchase some identity theft insurance. So with that scare and not knowing what to do or where to start, and the headache that would come if somebody truly did take my identity, I wouldn't know where to start, and that wasn't a very comforting feeling. So I am going to invest in identity theft insurance so that it can be taken care of in the event, God forbid, that something like that is to take place. So I have the right people, and I can get notified sooner rather than later. So that's something I'm personally going to look into. I have no recommendations at the moment, but these are things that I wanted to make sure I got out as we're in the holiday season. And those of you who decided to travel back home during this interesting time, like myself, if you're cleaning up some things, you're getting some things in order, these are some stuff that I want you to consider. So once again, your credit cards, figure out how many you have. That was one thing I had to figure out, like, what credit cards do I have? I had to track all of them down and write them down and say, okay, these are the ones that I have. This is what I need to spend on every now and then. Also, your credit score. Figure out what your credit score, how you're going to monitor it, how you want it to grow, if it's low, and how you're going to maintain it. And then identity theft. You want to still be you, right? Don't let anybody else ride on your good credit. I hope those tips are helpful. Please leave a comment below on anything else that you plan on getting together, or things that you advise other expats or people who are away from home, maybe you're in college, that they make sure that they check in on, so that they are not left confused and worried and not being able to go home for a long amount of time. So drop that below on things that we should bear in mind being expats and being away from our home countries. Thanks for listening. Take care.